Opposition. Participate in exciting discussions from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Be in the know every Thursday on Rev Up St. Lucia 97.1 from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.
Speak up and take responsibility when they see something going wrong in this country, in their community, in their houses, in their jobs. It embodies the idea that accountability isn't just for leaders, but for every citizen. Tanya Stevens reminds us of corruption in high and low places only to remind us that because we have a colonial mentality, we see only the oppression that is above us and not the oppression that is among us. Creating a culture of silence in the face of patent wrongdoing is not just acceptable, it is dangerous and it is destructive. And speaking up respectfully and more importantly, speaking truth becomes a civic duty of every citizen of this country and everyone who chooses to want to live among us, even though not a citizen.
It's now time for Meet the Opposition, today hosted by Nancy Charles. Nancy, a very good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning, Andre. How are you?
I'm very well. How about you?
I am doing well. I'm all in my yellow, and I see you are in orange today. That's close enough.
Middle of the road.
Yes. Good morning, St. Lucia. Good morning to all our listeners, those who are listening to us on 97.1 FM, and those of you who are also viewing us on Facebook or on YouTube. Let me say a pleasant good morning to you. Thank you once again for taking some time out of your busy schedule to listen to us on Meet the Opposition. Andre, I want to say a special good morning. There's a lady who calls me every time. Her name is Sister Love. Sister Love, ukakuteme bomatea, sukakuteme bon boju bomatea. And the many people that I meet, in fact, on the weekend, Andre, I did not realize that I was so loved and so appreciated. But on the weekend, we had our convention. And the mass number of persons who came up to me and told me, welcome back, they miss me. And on Thursdays, Andre, there are some people who say, don't call them on Thursday morning from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. They set aside everything. They make sure either their phone, their device, whatever it is that they're listening, that they are tuned in to Meet the Opposition. So let me say thank you very much to all of you. And I do want to say, if I have not said it enough, thank you so much to Andre and Tony at Rev Up 97.1 FM for giving us that opportunity to be able to host such a wonderful program. Thank you, Andre.
You're welcome.
All right. And thank you to our listeners.
And I believe, and I think you should let our listeners and viewers know that you're going to be away for a little while again.
I will be. Unfortunately, I will be away for a little while again, but I will not allow you to miss me so much. I will make every effort that while I'm away, either I can call in or I can zoom in and still be part of the program, because I still follow what is happening in St. Lucia. I still am very passionate about what is going on. So I will try as much as possible, Andre, that you don't miss me too much.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's Andre who's going on.
And I know you're capable. You're quite capable, because I'm going to write to the Guinness Book of Records Management to ensure that they put your name in there.
Oh,
because
really?
you know why? You're the first person, not just the first person, the first female to host a show from your car. That was amazing. That was amazing.
Well, that's what we women do. You know the song that you just played, the birthday song that you just played, that song is so applicable to all our women folk. And I do want to say that on March 8th, we are celebrating International Women's Day. And this is something, Andre, that women all over the world fought very, very hard for, to be recognized and to be appreciated for the work and the contribution that women make to society, to our country, to our nation, to nation building. So it was not an easy feat. It was not an easy task, but it is something that we celebrate every single year, just to be able to say thank you to the women folk in our lives, the women folk in our country, in our community, and that is because of the diversity that women bring to the table. And it's also because of, I think women are just, I don't know, we're superhumans. I was watching a little video on interview. I don't know if you've seen that. It's kind of like a funny job interview. And they were saying to all the people who came in for the job interview, they were giving them the specifications of the job, that they have no life, they have to stand on their feet 24 hours a day. When the client, they can only sleep when the client sleep. They have to feed the client before they feed themselves. They have to kind of put the needs of the client before them, etc. And then they said to them, the funny thing is, you're not going to get paid for the job. And then all of a sudden they were like, really? Who does that? And they said, yes, there are some people who does that. Do you know who? Mothers. And everybody was like, oh my God, yes, wow. Mothers/women, we just, God made us very, very special in that particular way. So that we can multitask and we can do any and everything we put our mind to. So, to the ladies out there, let me take this opportunity to wish you a happy International Women's Day. It's a time for you to pamper yourself. I intend to do that. So I am going to pamper myself. So it's an opportunity for you to pamper yourself if somebody else is not going to do it. It's an opportunity for you to do some self-reflection in terms of where you are, where you want to be, and the journey that you have taken from where you were to where you are at now, and to just appreciate it, appreciate life, appreciate the goodness of God upon your life. I think happy International Women's Day.
That's this coming Saturday, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, Andre, as always, I do like to start off with a word of encouragement. And this morning, what I want to encourage us about is the word love. And that one is a special little Powell GT for my good friend Rick Wayne. Rick listens to my show every single Thursday. So, Rick, I know you are listening this morning. And it came about because yesterday on Newsspring there was a little bit of a back and forth because there's a certain politician who during his debut over the weekend spoke about the issue of love and that, we should love each other and there's no love in this country. And to a certain extent, there was the discourse and a back and forth as to whether a politician should be talking about quote-unquote biblical things, and what do you want to hear from a politician? How are you going to fix the road, fix the country, fix the issues, etc. Essentially, I think there was a famous quote that Sir John had said once to say, let the church take care of the souls and I'll take care.
Yes,
right?
I remember that.
So I think it's along that lines there were those discussions. But what is love, St. Lucia? What is love? And I don't see the word love or the issue of love as only or just a biblical thing or something for pastors and preachers and priests and people, who are of the clergy to speak about. Because love is something that in our everyday normal life that we should be practicing. And I will tell you, Andre, love essentially, I sum it up in one way. Treating people the way that you would want to be treated. That's it. And if anybody who calls themselves a politician stands on a platform and cannot see that they need to treat people the way that they want to be treated, then they have no place in politics. Absolutely no place in politics. And that is why we are where we're at today, because too many people who put themselves up for public service, they do not have any love in their heart for the people. They do not have any love in their heart for the country. They do not have any compassion, Andre. They don't have any empathy. They see certain situations and certain things and certain people, and all they can think about is themselves. What about me? And not how do I help these people? How do I fix this? How do I make changes? So the same things that we are expecting to be changed by politicians in terms of the roads and the cost of living and crime, etc. In order to begin that process, you must first have love in your heart to be able to see the plight and what is going on in the country so that you can fix it and change it. So my encouragement to you this morning is to have love, everybody. And furthermore, I want us to also appreciate and understand that a politician is a holistic human being. A politician is just not one piece of a human being that only looks at one thing. A politician is a holistic human being who looks at family because he has a family. He has faith, most of them, because they believe in either God, Buddha, Jah, whatever it is, but they have faith. So they are a spiritual being as well. And they are also a physical being who takes care of the physical needs and so forth. So it's a holistic human, and we should not limit them to just only one set of communication. They should not only be speaking about only one set of things. They should be able to speak about everything that has to do with life and livelihood.
So let me ask you, why do you think a human being would not have love?
Oh, I don't know, Andre.
Because you said that
I
if
don't know.
a politician doesn't have love, right, he or she is not fit to be of service, right, as an MP, leader / whatever, right? So how is it that that person, because I think I gather from what you're saying that you believe that there's some politicians who do not have love.
There's some of them, let me not say that some of them do not have love, but maybe some of them do not practice love. So they know what it is. It's one thing to know something, to know of something, and to know about something, but it's another thing to practice that thing that you say you know of or you know about. So let me say that maybe they do have love, or maybe they do know of love, they do know about it, but they are not practicing it. And if they are not practicing it, they are not practicing it enough or more consistently.
Or maybe you think they practice it for some and
they
not
practice
for
it,
others.
they are very partial. And the Bible tells us that love is not partial, you know, whatever it is. And again, that's why I sum it up in one way. Whatever way you would want to be treated, treat others the same. And by others, it does not categorize. It's not your family that you treat the same. It's not your friends that you treat the same. It's not your neighbor you treat the same, but it is the stranger. It is the visitor. It is the poor man on the street. It is the same way you treat the rich man, you treat the poor man as well. You know, it has to be across the board.
Even the one you hate.
Even the one you hate. And even the one who hates you. Even the one who hates you, the one who doesn't love you, and the one who's doing everything, every single thing possible to see to your demise.
But you know, historically, politicians have shown clearly that they have a bias towards certain people who they think love them, and they show more attention, more love and concern for those that they think love them, and the others who are opposed, they figure you don't love me or you don't care about me, so why should I care about you?
I'm not doing anything for you. And
Right.
that's the human nature. That is the human nature of the human being.
However,
it's our nature. It's your nature as a human being that if you feel this person has, more, maybe something more towards you than this other person, that you naturally gravitate to that person. However, when the human nature takes over, which is one of the things that I say here consistently, you have to check yourself and say, rewind and come back and say, listen, I'm going down the wrong path. Can't be right. I need to go back to do what is right. And it doesn't mean we won't make that mistakes over and over and over again, you know, because that's our nature as human beings as well. But I think what is more important and critical is that when you realize you're doing something that is not right, something that is wrong, something that, morally you shouldn't be, you say to yourself, I don't want to do that, or I should not be doing that, and then you fix it, as much as possible.
So why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you not do it? Because you said if it's not morally right, then you should take a step back, wheel and come again, and not do it.
Yeah.
So what's the point in doing it? In other words, if I say, okay, I know what I'm doing there, it's not right, but I'll do it anyway. Right. So what is the point of why shouldn't I do the bad thing
I don't know.
to that person?
Oh, why shouldn't you do the bad thing to that person?
Yes, what do I have to gain out of that?
You see, it's not always about a gain, and that's where the love come in. It's not always about what is it that I have to gain. Because it's not everything you do in life that there is a gain.
Because sometimes you just do
the right thing because it is the right thing to do. You understand? Sometimes it's just good to do the right thing, to treat the person who doesn't like the best bone in you, to treat them right, not because you're going to get a benefit from them, not because they're going to pay you, give you money, or even love you, but just because it is the right thing to do. Sometimes we just have to do it because it's the right thing to do, with no benefits. Absolutely no benefits. But you just do it. And that is tough. That is very difficult. But I can promise you, if you practice it and try it over and over and over again, you know the benefits you'll get? You will be at peace. You will feel better about yourself as a human being. You will feel like at ease, like, you know, like you don't have this burden. And I'll tell you something. You see, when you hate somebody, which is why I try as much as possible, don't hit anybody in my life. You carrying them on your shoulders and you feel this little stress thing there. Because every time you see them, you kind of like, you puff up yourself. You have to do yourself something because this emotion is stirring up inside of you and it's tiring. It's stressful. You understand? That's why they say again, forgiveness is not about the other individual, but it's about you. You want to be the one at peace. You want to be at ease. You want to be relaxed. You want to, when you see the person as if you didn't even see them and you're going down your merry way, you're happy. But you know, when you kind of like don't like somebody, you sing in a happy song, and as soon as you see them, you forget about the happy song and you're so mad and you start thinking all kind of you know. So sometimes it's just for you, for your own sanity, you know, for your own sanity. You just do it. Yeah.
All right.
So people, go out and show love this morning. Go out and show love today. Go out and treat everybody that you meet the way you would want to be treated. When you go to the supermarket, when you go in and try and park your car in the boulevard, when you try and buy something from the vendors by the road, you know, just think about how would I want to be treated and treat that person that same way.
So I'm a little lost. You gave a story earlier about either a politician was speaking about love,
yes,
and somebody had an issue with that.
There was a little bit of a back and forth on Newspin yesterday about it, because I think Rick was of the opinion that he didn't want to hear that from the politician. He wanted to hear from the politician about how he's going to fix the road and fix the problems, etc., and not come and preach to me. He feels that if you're a preacher, go and preach on the pulpit. If you're a politician, come and talk politician stuff, in essence. I hope I don't misinterpret you, Rick, but I think that's what you were trying to say. And then you had Brother Harris who called to say something contrary, and somebody, and there was a little bit of a back and forth. But I did not call deliberately. I said I would probably address it on my show, because I think both of them are correct, you know. Yes, that the politician, there are times he has to address political things, but talking about spiritual things is also part of politics as well. It is, because we are holistic human beings. We don't have only just one aspect to our lives. Alrighty. Anyway, Andre, let's go on. I could not figure out last night as I was preparing for the show. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to talk about? Because there's so many things happening in St. Lucia. And Andre, when I finished putting together my show, I was like, oops, I need to make time for calls. There's so much I want to talk about. So let me go into them very quickly so that we can take some calls. But in the news, Andre, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a statement made by Julian Alfred's manager with reference to the non-for-profit foundation that they are trying to put together. And apparently he's very frustrated because from last year he indicated that they had applied. And the process is, St. Lucia, that in order for you to qualify as a not-for-profit, you first have to apply, I think, to the Attorney General's chambers and say, this is my organization, this is what it's going to do, these are the directors, etc., and so forth. So you must get approval from the Attorney General's office, who would say to you, okay, you are approved for not-for-profit. Then you would go to the company registrar, then register your not-for-profit organization. Then you'll take those documents, and then you can now go to the bank and open a bank account, etc. So it's a process. I think he's feeling very frustrated, and he made a statement. He had to make a statement because to date they still have not even gotten the approval, and they have not been able to register, and they have not been able to open a bank account, and they are getting funds. You know, Julian Alfred is very popular. She created history, and he's so disappointed that they've had to turn away sponsors, Andre. Can you imagine you have to turn away money, much needed money that our athletes in St. Lucia need? Because remember, Lottery and got no money no more, St. Lucia. All lottery money is going into paying that $80 million loan they took that nobody knows what it's for. So Lottery and got no money. None of the associations getting money. Julian Alfred is trying to help those young athletes and put the foundation together. AG Chambers, Pakabayan response. That's the same set of people who tell you they care and they make a big drama with Julian and they're going to give her $1 million and all kind of things. But the simplest thing that she needs, that you can fast track the process for her foundation so she can be registered and she can open a bank account and receive the millions of dollars that donors are willing to give her. You all cannot do that. You all can't do that. Say, pale. Let me tell you something. I get so frustrated sometimes because I am a do-it person. One thing I can certainly tell you that everybody who knows me knows I am a do-it person. I talk the talk, but I walk the walk. I just do it because I try to find, I don't have no time for, oh, well, it cannot be done. How can we do it? Make it happen. You, the AG's Chambers, you in charge. You can fast track that process to ensure that the young lady and her team can get that. We are refusing money, St. Lucia. Julian's people have to refuse money. All the whoop and everything like that, y'all can prioritize that. Where is Kenson in all of that? Y'all wanted to talk about a stipend and all can make roar about everything. Look today, she needs your help. From last year, they've applied. We're in March this year and they can't get it. And the man is so frustrated that he had to make a public statement. All right? Y'all don't care about St. Lucia. Just talk, Andre. Second thing in the news, I heard that my good friend, Police Commissioner Vern Gard, his contract was renewed for a year. No surprise there, St. Lucia.
By the way, still acting?
I don't know. I don't know if he's still acting or he's now full-time commissioner. I will have to double-check that. But I do know that his contract was renewed for a year. And I do know that nobody in St. Lucia is surprised. Because, you know, that's I told you all already before St. Lucia, that's the mantra of the Labour Party. How many years did it take for them to make the Governor General acting? They had to be satisfied that the Governor General was going to do their willy-nilly, whatever they wanted him to do. So they were just, you know, like the old people say, you can buy luck. You understand? That's what they were doing. And that's what they do to people. So they don't give you a full-time contract. They make you acting. They give you 2 months, 3 months, whatever, to make sure that you can toe the line. And once you can toe the line, then they give you an extension. So we are not surprised, Mr. Commissioner. So I will not say congratulations. Because I am not surprised. I mean, once you can take directives from Richard Frederick, I'm not surprised. You know? I mean, what is this? Who really is the commissioner? I don't know. Is the dog wagging the tail? I don't know. Or the tail wagging the dog? Which one is it? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think what for me was that the commissioner said in the interview when I read the article that his policing plan is 85% complete. Andre, what is the policing plan?
I don't know.
You in the media, you telling me you don't know?
I don't know what it is.
Well, somebody message me via WhatsApp and tell me what is the policing plan that Vern Gard had put in place for his 6 months contract, and that is 85% complete. Message me, send it to me via WhatsApp so that I can read it to St. Lucia so they can tell me what was the 85% policing plan that Vern Gard has put in place. I mean, this is a joke, Andre. Has anybody seen the plan?
No.
Was there a press conference? I remember that Vern Gard had a press conference, and even the Prime Minister, Vern Gard, said he presented to the Prime Minister a plan. We never heard what the plan was. We never heard whether the plan was approved. And I don't expect that as the police officer you come and give us the nitty-gritty, because some things are confidential and sensitive. But at least you tell us the broader aspects of the plan, to reduce crime by 10%, to increase police presence by that. You know, you give us those broader technical things that public servants like to do. Yeah, present it that way. So at least we have something to measure you by. We do have something to measure you by, because under your tenure as the acting police commissioner, we attained the highest level of murders in St. Lucia. That is what we have to judge you by. That is what we have to judge you by. That under your tenure, everything went hele-dele. Every single aspect of crime that you can think of went up under your tenure. But you say 85% of your policing plan is complete. But up to a day like today, the police cannot get a proper salary. They cannot end negotiation with the same government that say, we love the police, we care about the police, we're going to give them every resource available. The best resource available that they need is money. Pay them properly. So the motorbikes and the vans that you want to give that everybody can see, that's the resource? Pay them. Give them the different benefits that they are asking for. That's how we know you care about the police. You understand? And Andre, there were rumors circulating because you know this Calypsonian Kakal, who is a Calypsonian, but he's a police officer. I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw rumors circulating all over the place that because Kakal sung on our platform on Sunday, that apparently Jeremiah Norbert called police commissioner to say that they need to transfer Kakal, etc. Jeremiah, I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I saw it all over the place. It was making the rounds. So you'll have to come out and clarify and say that never happened. You never called anybody. But you better make sure you know already you have a little part of lying and saying that never happened and then evidence surface. So be careful, my boy. Don't come out and say that never happened, you never made the call or you never made the request, and next thing, evidence surface to show that you did. So be careful, because on a part of a te passe ki, ek les offinement, nou ka hen papier, nou ka hen tout document ka di, sa zo di a pa vwe. Chonjou di pièce Jean UW pi pate jeme edo fan yen ba ou. Ek gelte la ka chebe la mon ka pwedye pou pate ou tan le kous la. L'hôpital à Saint-Jude. Gel rigo bot la ka che bo ka hug maman ka hele tout bagay. Mais pièce Jean UW pi pa hen fan yen ba ou. Pat mantez oazo kay kiti. But anyway, if that is the case and if that is true, Andre, can you believe this? That people are not free in this artists are not free in this country. Do you know, people, you all know how many artists that are public servants and whatever that sing and sung for the Labour Party, sing songs against, has anybody said anything about that? We don't care. Do you know the amount of songs and calypso some of them made against Alan Chasney and things like that? We don't care. That is the arts. That is the arts. You understand? If Kakal, in his official capacity as a police officer, came to a United Workers' Party event, that's a different story. I suppose the police have their ways of dealing with that. But he's a Calypsonian. He was paid. No pay. We paid him. And that's not the first time Kakal has sung on our platform. We had a meeting in the Boulevard last year. Kakal was one of those artists. We had Rikiti, Kakal, Ashanti. They sang. Y'all didn't see him then. Y'all didn't hear him. Oh, y'all were not following then. But he sung last year. Ridiculous Labour Party people. That's how y'all are. That's how y'all are. But in any event...
So where does this thing surface? Who's saying so?
I saw it all over social media. And then it just started to take wings. And who said this and who said that. And I was like, you know what? It really doesn't matter to me. If y'all want to transfer Kakal. Kakal is from View 40, just so y'all know. So wherever it is that he's stationed, if the request is to transfer him back to View 40, I'm sure he'll be happy. He'll be closer to home. He won't have to travel anywhere. Why? But anyway, Commissioner, I see they extended your contract, so I don't know. I wish you all the best, like I said before. When there is a reduction in crime and the police is doing their job and we feel safer, all of us benefit from it. So I hope that this is what your plan is going to be. However, I don't see any way that it will. Because you started off on the wrong footing. You started taking directives from the wrong set of people. You started off by doing the wrong set of things. So, an qui commence pas bon, il pas ka fini bon. Old people always tell you that. Depuis pas commencer bien, il pas ça jamais fini bien. Bon, ou pas commencer bien, ou pas ka fini bien. Mais moi ka prédire pour ça comment fini bien. Mais mande ka fini bien. Monday guy fini bien. But I know there are some people that vex Andre because the commissioner got the extension. Because there were a lot of promises that were made to some people before the last election. If you do this and if you do that, if you get the police to support us, we'll make you commissioner. Belelesh, Zobayan commissioner. Vanguard party même cette liste pour élection. Et gars qui laisse yo by commissioner, yo by Vanguard commissioner, yo by zo commissioner. Mais on vie mess. Zoni vie mess, zoni vie réputation, yo by zo commissioner. Vous comprenez? Ils fait tout dirty works là by labor. Et me zo still by a commissioner. You by Vanguardly. So, in any event, Mr. God, let me say to you, since you now have an extension, and since Saturday is International Women's Day, I really, really would appreciate it if you were able to come out and give us an update in terms of the investigation of the complaints made on the allegations by your deputy. We need an update. We haven't heard anything about that. All right? And I'm telling you, we're not going to let that matter to rest. And by the way, I have a little notice for you. Because since they've extended your contract for next year, it means that for a whole year, it means that by next year, whenever they call the election, UWP will win and you will be the commissioner. So we will still be the one to say to you, you see that investigation, you need to continue with it. Because there's no statute of limitation when it comes to sexual violence and sexual crime, rape and things like that. Right? There's no statute of limitation. So you better pray to God that you're still there. Because when we win the election, you will still be commissioner and we'll still make you investigate it. That's the first order of business. So you better do it now and not wait for when we come in to make you do it. Investigate it. That's all we're asking. Investigate it properly. Rightfully. Investigate it. Okay? And by the way, I have a little notice for my friend Catherine Silis. I hear you having a big dinner on International Women's Day to raise funds. Make sure you remember those women police officers, eh? Mention their name too. Because they have been violated or they are alleging that they have been violated. They are women too. They have international rights too. And they deserve justice too. They are hypocrite. And I hope some of the women who are currently in relationship with some of these men that are abusing and violating women, that you all don't go to the big dinner in your nice dun and cry and give speech about women and how you all care about them, and when you all leave that same big dinner, you all go back home to bed with those same men who are violating those same women. Hypocrite. That's why Alan Chasney has a song that says, action speaks louder than words. If you care about women, you're not going to find yourself embroiled in certain type of relationships with those same men who are abusing and violating women. You are a hypocrite. So don't go to no dinner and don't go put no nice clothes on you and say you're standing up for women when the same men when you are enabling the men who are violating and abusing them. That is called hypocrisy. That's what Rick Green says. Now, Andre, did you see the article on where Ralph Gonzalez wrote a letter, I think, with reference to a palace. That's what they call it, not me that call it so. A palace that is being built by the ECCB in St. Kitts.
Nope.
Andre, you're missing out on everything. Let me tell you something. Drama alone. So apparently, the governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Mr. Timothy Antoine, a decision was made perhaps by the ECCB because the ECCB is in St. Kitts, and it seems that they've been renting houses for, the governors when they come across. So a decision was made, it seems, to build a house so that you don't have to rent anymore. The house belongs to the bank, so whoever becomes the governor of the bank will have a house that the bank already owns, etc. So you just move in. Mm-hmm. That's understandable. That's agreeable. Andre, can you imagine? And the property is 10,000 square feet, St. Lucia. So let me tell you all, 10,000 square feet is probably maybe the size of the studio from one end of the street to go to. It's not big. It's just a lot. Like a lot, one plot of land, 10,000 square feet. That's the size of the property. Can you imagine that the people are building, the cost of the building so far is 22 million EC dollars? To build a house. to build a residence. So Ralph now write a letter, because I don't know if he didn't know or if he knew. I don't know who knew what or whatever. But all of a sudden, this matter is coming to the fore. And you see the pictures are surfacing all over the place, etc. Andre, let me tell you something. St. Lucia, you see, they always say you shouldn't tie 1 + 1. But when you see what is happening in certain quarters, you have to ask yourself some serious questions, you know. So I went and do a little bit of research, Andre. Now, the Monetary Council, there's the ECCB, there's the board, and there's the Monetary Council. The Monetary Council is the one that approves the financial aspect, I suppose, the payments, what to do, etc., and so forth. The Monetary Council is the one that approves or approved the money to build a house. Guess who was the chairman of the Monetary Council? Can you guess, Andre?
No.
Honorable Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre. From July 2020, let me get my dates correct. Is it 20? From July 2022. There was an announcement made, etc., and so forth. July 2022, St. Lucia, our Prime Minister in St. Lucia, assumed the chairmanship of the ECCB. All right? And construction and designs, etc., happened between 2022 and 2023 under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Kennedy Anthony. All right? $22 million to build a house. Per hotel, per guest house, per mampav. I don't know and I don't understand how it is that you start constructing a house and the cost of a building to date is $22 million for a house, Andre.
And what you're saying there, that figure, is that a fact?
That's what Mr. Gonzalez wrote in the letter, and that's a fact. It's in articles, it's in newspaper, it's all over the place. All over. These are facts, not fiction. These are not he say, she say, they say. These are facts. The cost to date is $22 million. And they call it a palace because remember, as I said, it's 10,000 square feet. So they cannot go wide. They went up. You understand? You can Google it while you're there, Andre. You can Google it online. Mm-hmm. They were not able to go wide, so they went up because they didn't have enough square footage to go wide. They went up, and so they call it a palace. All right? And Mr. Gonzalez is suggesting perhaps that what we do is to complete it because it's so far gone, you can't stop it, complete it, but sell it out for a hotel, sell it to the government of St. Kitts for something, because, I mean, there's no way you can keep such a lavish mansion for the governor. Now, how does the governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, he's supposed to monitor our money, ensure that we get value, look at inflation, do all these things, and find himself embroiled in a $22 million mansion being built for him? Are these the people you want to be watching your money? And then I asked the question. I said, why is it that this thing didn't come out sooner? And then I started thinking, I said, but the man was in St. Lucia sometime last year. You all remember St. Lucia? He was on Timothy's program, Newsmaker Live, and he was talking about the bank, etc. You all remember when Timothy asked him about the CIP program in St. Lucia and all the allegations, and he said there was nothing? There was nothing amiss. He had no comments. There was no impropriety as far as he was aware with the bank, etc. So y'all understand 1 + 1. So Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre is the in charge of the Monetary Council. $22 million mansion being built. CIP la hakamache here, there, everywhere. Bakla party, no, nothing is amiss, etc. I mean, what is going on in this country? What is going on in this region? You see it, Andre?
Yes, apparently it's true.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, Andre.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So you see,
let me just
in the Caribbean and in the region, it's just, for me, as far as I see it, is kind of like a who know who, who's covering up for who's in relationship with who, and that is one of the fundamental reasons why the United Workers' Party was opposed to the CCJ as the final appellate court for us. You know why? Because all these lawyers and judges, they are married to each other's family, they taught each other, they socialize with each other, judges, lawyers, all of them. It's a very small community, and that is why we felt that there is a strong possibility, because of that commonality that they have, because everybody knows each other, we do not think that there will be fairness And it's human nature. Human nature. I know Andre. Andre is my friend. Okay, let's look at it. I am hosting a program now on Andre's radio station. 10 years from now or 5 years from now, I find myself in a position where I can deliberate over a matter that includes Andre. You don't think that there is a small possibility that me knowing Andre and having had a relationship with Andre with reference to the radio station might play a part in me making a decision? And even if it doesn't, you don't think people out there might think, especially if I make a decision that is supportive of Andre, people might think, but Nancy had no Andre. You all remember Nancy had a show on Andre? That's why she made the decision. That people might question my decision. So these are the things, we have to look at these things seriously, St. Lucia.
So no doubt there will be a response from the ECCB because
I hope so.
He's already written to them. And he has some very, very strong words to say.
And he recommended that he thinks that the man should even step down.
Mm-hmm.
He even recommended that he thinks that the governor should step down because there's no way that should happen.
He said he's he's putting the blame squarely on the shoulders of the governor, accusing him of an appalling lack of judgment and a pursuit of apparent vainglory. Mm-hmm.
Andre, let me tell you something.
But the ECCB has to respond to this.
They must, and they should. They should respond to the letter.
I see there's $22 million. And Dr. Gonzalez spoke about the fact that there's so much poverty in the Caribbean
but
and so on.
But that's it. And we're spending $22 million to build a house for you? Not even $1 million to ensure it's a proper house. I mean, you want your people to be comfortable. And I'm not saying build him a $200,000 house. It could have been $1 million to ensure it's properly furnished, etc., and so forth. It could have been $2 million. It could have been $5 million. Because $5 million is a lot of money. But $22 million?
But what I find strange, I mean, why hasn't CARICOM as a whole responded to this thing?
So let me tell you something. Ralph has always been the one who stands up and to call a spade a spade. When this CIP thing started, Ralph has always been the one to say, I don't want it, I don't want no part in it, I don't want it in my country, etc., etc. Ralph has always been the one to open the eyes of people because you see the others, they are just covering up for each other. They're covering up for each other and covering up for themselves. Because I'm telling you, not only does the governor have to respond, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia must say something because it was during his tenure that this thing occurred and started. So he must come out and respond. And I'm calling him, and I say it deliberately because I know they listen to the show. Vinwe pon tetu pip. Vin di Setlisie, Kimariasie, who in charge of Monetary Council from July 2022, and that $22 million construction was under your tenure. Did you give approval for $22 million? Did you give approval for $5 million, $12 million, whatever? What happened? You are answerable to us. We want to know. Because that's our money, Andre. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. These banks pay 0.01 interest on our savings. And that same savings that we have with them, they go out and they give it out as loan and they make 10, 15, 20 and 30% interest on it, on our money. So you are essentially making money and profit on our head, our money. You are answerable to us. So y'all have to answer. Okay? Y'all have to answer. And by the way, it's something I wanted to speak about from since last year. There's a company here called Fix. You've heard of it?
Yes.
It's Fix is owned, I think, by Lon Theophilus. It was a company started off by his father. It's a financial institution, etc. I don't know if you remember last year, Andre, there was an article that says that Fix went into administratorship, or an administrator was appointed for it. Now, I want to read to St. Lucia just very briefly. What is an administrator, or why would an administrator be given?
But didn't Lon dispute those claims?
No, he didn't. He came out. When I saw the news story, I was even a little bit perplexed. I said, I don't understand. Because I know, Andre, from my accounting background, that when you appoint an administrator, right, to a financial institution, it means that the financial institution is in some sort of a problem. So the bank, which is the ECCB, is going to provide oversight to come in and see what exactly are you doing to ensure that they protect people's property. And that goes with credit unions. And I knew that because of also my experience with credit union. I was a board member for a long time of our credit union. And because these institutions have people's money, and so it is incumbent on laws, there are laws to ensure that you protect the assets that people have invested in those institutions. And so what has been happening with Fix, it seems, I don't know which one of them, but let me read to you what or why an administrator would be appointed. All right, let me just open it up and tell you that grounds for appointing an official administrator. The central bank may appoint an official administrator for a licensed financial institution or licensed financial holding company where, 1, the central bank determines that the licensed financial institution or the licensed financial holding company has, 1, violated any provision of the acts or regulation, 2, engage in any unsafe or unsound practices in such a manner as to weaken the licensed financial institution. 3, the licensed financial institution or licensed financial holding company regulatory capital levels fall below the minimum regulatory capital required pursuant to Section 44 of the Act. The central bank has, or 5, the central bank has reasonable cause to believe that the licensed financial institution or the licensed financial holding company or its directors, officers, or significant shareholders has engaged or is engaging in illegal activities in a manner as to jeopardize depositors' interest. The central bank determines that the licensed financial institution or the licensed financial holding company is in an unsafe or unsound confusion or transact business, and the licensed financial institution or licensed financial company or officers are unable to promptly improve the conditions. And there are many more, but nothing positive, Andre. From what I have read to you, St. Lucia, it is nothing positive. It is suggesting that that financial institution, and that is Fix that I am talking about, it was in the news. The ECCB sent an administrator. I just forgot the gentleman's name, whether it was Mr. White or something like that. It was in the news. He came, etc. So we know that there is something going on at Fix. People have their deposits in that financial institution. People have mortgages, loans, etc. in that financial institution. What is going on? And Mr. Lon Theophilus, you're a lawyer. For sure, we know you have refused to speak anything with CIP. You are supposed to be the chairman of CIP. We don't know if you are. We don't know if you're not. We don't know if you were fired. We don't know if you left. We don't know anything. Can you imagine, St. Lucia, that to date, we still do not know whether Mr. Lon Theophilus is still the chairman of the board for the CIP? We don't know. Nobody can come and answer. Pete Pakapale, what's his name? Hilaire Pakapale, Lon Pakapale. And the same Lon Theophilus now, who is a director or the chairman of the board for Fix, we are hearing that there is an administrator appointed by the ECCB to look over the financial affairs of Fix. What is going on? What is going on, St. Lucia? We deserve answers. You understand? We deserve answers. So Andre, let me tell you something. There is no law and order. There is no accountability. There is no responsibility. We are treated like animals in this country that we cannot be spoken to. We do not deserve to be spoken to. We do not deserve answer. And when we ask questions, you have party hacks, people who have no head, no brain. They come out and they tell you it's politics. It's not politics. This is my country. This is your country. Let's say politician fini. La yo fin red treasury. La yo fin pwe Daniela Hanu. Yo ka kite nou la Brooks. Ek yo ka party. So we have to speak out against it. We must speak out against it, Andre. Okay? We must speak out against it. I don't know why it is, St. Lucia, that it seems that everybody who's either involved with Labour Party, doing something for Labour Party, involved with this government, has found themselves in some bubble, some unanswered question, all kinds of things. Why? What is it about Labour Party and Labour Party people? Saki Vezo. What? If he's not Kenson, he's Richard, he's this one, he's that one. I mean, come on. You mean none of y'all can walk the straight and narrow? None of y'all can be accountable and transparent? None of y'all can do things right? None? Shakti le amun lome nozo. Samba ki pa bon? Shakti le? Ebe, where? Andre, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But let me tell you all something, St. Lucia. You see the thing they call in karma? It not play, Because zote di ba about Guy Joseph and Alan Chasney. Zofe bagay Alan Chasney Guy Joseph. 4 years you're in office. 4 years. You're not mentioning Guy Joseph not once. Tout se papiers Richard Tenika read by Zo. Later opposition. Okay? Tout se papiers Tenika read ka dis o Guy ka fe bol, Guy ka fe dis, Alan ka fe bol, Sa ka fe dis ek bay. I hani 4 lande yon gouvernement. E ki pa hawev yon chop papier pou mouche dat ki oui, Guy fe an bay pou vwe, Alan fe an bay pou vwe, Nancy fe an bay pou vwe, John fe an bay pou vwe. Not one. So realize that you take kienezo, you take a mati baizo. But today, I am showing you all the facts. I am giving you all evidence of what these people are actually doing to y'all. You do vole pa jeme emewe kama wadika poti sak. So you take yo vini ek yo vini pour raid ek yo kani point. That's all they're doing. Taking. I want to know when y'all will stop. And my final thing I want to talk about, because it's close to 10 o'clock, I really do want to open the line, is I want to speak about the court matter or the injunction and the judicial review case that Alan Chasney has filed with reference to CIP. All right? Because you see, the Labour Party is really trying to create a narrative that Alan Chasney pa eme setlicien. Alan Chasney doesn't like the poor man. And the CIP is for the poor people. The CIP is for the people of this country. And Alan Chasney trying to stop the CIP. He trying to destroy the CIP. Let me ask you a question, St. Lucia. Moi vle n'importe moun kouye mwen la nou veling la. Mr. Sonson. Apadi the $10 million that last year, after much pressure, Philip J. Pierre gave $10 or $11 million. One of them, I stand corrected, to OKEU. And he said that it was to pay outstanding debts of OKEU. 3 years of debts that they have never paid. He said it was to pay that. Apadi sa, mwen vle kouye mwen, ek di mwen yon bagay, la han CIP ha fe set lisi. One. Not 2, not 3, not 4. 1. Under the St. Lucia Labour Party. Just tell me one outside of that $10 million. So it's 4 years that they have been in office. 1. But let me correct the lie. Andre, I'm not too sure why this thing is stuck. But let me correct the lie. St. Lucia, Alan Chasney did not file any court case to stop the CIP program. That's number 1. Sabavui. Never happened. All right? Never happened. Alan Chasney is not trying to stop the CIP program either. Never happened. Never gonna happen. Because I want you to remember that it was the Alan Chasney administration that implemented. Remember, Kenny Anthony passed the law, passed the legislation, but they never started CIP. It was Alan Chasney who started it. And we believe that the CIP program can be a good program. All right? We believe that it can be a good program. The United Workers' Party believes that it can be a good program. What the United Workers' Party is trying to stop is the thieving and the bubbling and the siphoning of our money, our CIP money that we don't know where it is going. And we have asked questions, we have done all kinds of things possible. We are not getting answers. And Alan Shasney has asked the court to review two things in particular, not the entire CIP. The contract for Galaxy and BMAX. We believe that there are irregularities in this contract. We believe that there are certain things in this contract that is breaking the law of this country, certain laws in this country. And so we have filed for a judicial review. Essentially, what we have said to the court is to stop the Galaxy and the BMAX contract, review it as the court, look at it vis-a-vis the laws of St. Lucia, the financial laws of St. Lucia. And we believe that if you do so, you will realize there are certain things in there that are illegal, irregular, unlawful, whatever terminology you want to say it. And we want the court to review that. That is what we have filed in essence. Okay? So we have not filed to stop the entire CIP. So Ernest Hilaire kay dubuta parlement ek menti ba izosimen passé and tell people that he's trying to destroy the CIP. No. He's trying to stop Galaxy. Galaxy has already received, and not me that said. I showed you the documents last year. I showed you the contract. I showed you everything where Galaxy has already collected based on the document. The contract he signed a contract that said that he would receive no less than 5,000 applications. And if each application is $200,000 US, when you calculate it, they have received over $2 billion EC from the sale of our passport. And Ernest Hilaire was the same person who said it has sold out. So if it's sold out, it means they sold all $5,000. Where the money? We don't know where the money is. So we have to take it to Court St. Lucia. We have to go to the court for the court to find out where our money is. We have to. We don't have a choice. And let me tell you something. Everybody in St. Lucia should be standing up, and whether you like Alan Shasney or not, whether you think he's a white man, black man, a purple man or whatever, whether you think he cares about this, that or the other, you should be standing up and saying bravo to Alan Shasney, because this is the only man who has taken a stand to stop what is happening in this country and to ensure that there is accountability and transparency. That is the only man who has done that and who continues to do that. So whether you like him or not, that's not the point. The point is, Andre, remember I said to you earlier on, he is doing the right thing. Not because it benefits him, not because it's anything to him. He is doing the right thing because it is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do. Andre, I am asking the question, how many passports has Galaxy sold on our behalf in our name? Nobody wants to answer. How much money? We have calculated it based on the contract. If we are wrong, come and tell us our calculation is wrong. Come and show us and say, Nancy Charles said that Galaxy has sold 5,000 passports at X amount of money. They've collected X amount of money. She lied. That is not true. These are the facts. Come and tell us. That's all we want to know. The fact is, Galaxy has sold X number of passports. They have collected X number of money. How much money have they spent on the project in Vieux Fort? Ek tous les jours nous ka passé là. Mahale la dekou sou l'état là cette ici. La panan yi wajie ki la, deti Chinese ki la, deti kai, ek ou ka we do twa teacher building like whatever. I can certainly say to you, I am not a QS, a quantity surveyor, and I don't know the value of things, but I know the value of money. And I can certainly tell you that you don't even have $50 or $60 million worth of work on the ground, much less $100 million. But yet still, they have collected over $1 billion. And you do not have $100 million worth of works on ground in canals if you go down there and see it. Anybody can go and see it for themselves. So, And y'all want us to stay silent? Y'all want the leader of the opposition, who has a constitutional duty and responsibility to hold this government accountable, to ensure we can account for everything that happens in this country. Y'all want him to stay there silent and allow our money to be siphoned. China, Taiwan, wherever it is they're sending it, you want our money to go all over the place and him not take action and do or say something? Come on. Come on.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. Let's just assume that Galaxy has collected over $1 billion EC dollars, right?
Right.
Okay. In the eyes of the opposition, what is Galaxy supposed to do with that money?
He's supposed to build a hotel.
Okay, so let's just
That
assume
was the arrangement. He had a contract to sell CIP passport to raise money. And let me explain it again, Andre. He wants to build a hotel. He doesn't have the cash. He says to St. Lucia, if you allow me to sell CIP passports, application, whatever you want to call it, if you allow me to sell it, I can raise $400 million so that I can build a hotel. All right? So that is the deal. The deal is we allow him to sell our passports so that he can raise money to build a hotel. The benefit to St. Lucia, the hotel remains there. You have workers, you have farmers. You know, when a hotel is built, all the benefits that come with it. We have no objection to that. Our objection is if you have a contract that says you're going to build a hotel and the contract says you can sell our passport to collect X amount of money to build a hotel because you have collected the money. So where is the hotel?
Right.
If you have not built a hotel, then where is the money?
And I have another question. Let's just assume they do end up building the hotel,
right?
And the hotel costs $10 million.
Right.
Okay. So since they're the ones who sold the passports, what happens to the rest of the money?
Well, that's what we want to know, Andre. I want to know that too. Because if your hotel costs $400 million, let's see. Let's say we are generous and we give you 100% profit. And so we tell you raise $800 million. 400 to build a hotel, the other 400 is your profit, your cost, etc. You make 100% profit. That's a lot, but I still say fine. But you make $1 billion, eh?
On the passports.
On the passports, eh? So where the rest of the money, or where does the rest of the money goes? I want to know the answer to that, Andre. And these are the things that Alan Chasney is standing up for. So
doesn't the money in effect belong to Galaxy? If they have the $1 billion EC dollars, doesn't in effect belong to them?
Let me say something.
Are they accountable? As you're saying that they must account and say, well, we spent $800 million.
Yes,
the $200
but
million.
that's in the terms of the agreement as well. In the terms of the agreement, that the money is supposed to be held in what we call an escrow account. And the CIP unit is supposed to give a monthly report of that money that goes into the escrow account. How it is spent, how much come in, how much goes out, how much is spent, etc. That's all part of the deal, you know. That's not things I'm making up, huh? This is part of the contractual arrangement. And that is why we are asking the question, Andre. We're not putting things out of the air. You're supposed to account. And remember, let me say before you ask, remember, Ernest Hilaire said, when he addressed the nation sometime last year, remember he said that they did the review of the escrow account and everything was in order. So what is the everything that was in order? Tell us. Because they have a responsibility to review it, Andre. So what was in order? How come you cannot tell us how much money came in, how much money goes out, and how much money is still there? That's all. But didn't the minister give a statement in the House on this particular matter? Didn't he do that? Yeah, what did he say? So it didn't include... None of it. When Lisa Joseph asked him the question about Galaxy, how many passports, he said to Lisa, wait, I will report in the parliament. When Lisa asked the Prime Minister the question, the Prime Minister said, as of today, I am not answering no more question about CIP. All right? Nobody wants to talk about CIP. He said he would answer in Parliament. He went in Parliament and it was Alan Chasney. How many passports were sold? That's what we asked. We never got the answer. How much money has been collected? We never got the answer. How much money has been spent so far? We never got the answer. How much money is remaining in the escrow account? We never got the answer. 4 simple questions you can answer, Andre. 4 questions. 4 of them, just 4 so far. You can answer? But these are things you should be able to answer. You understand? So let me tell you something. So again, sorry.
I thought the case there with Mr. Shasny had to do with the cost of the passports, right? I think he's claiming that it was undersold.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, he's claiming a lot of irregularities.
So that's one of them.
That's one of them. He's claiming a lot of irregularities, and he's asking the court to review it. But I want to be very clear, St. Lucia. The regular way or the option of the donation option to apply for a passport, for a CIP passport. Now, Andre had a difficulty with that because we call it donation. But that is the terminology Pamwekifei. That donation aspect where somebody can stay overseas and say, listen, I'd like to have a St. Lucian passport. I am going to apply. I'm going to pay for the donation. And the donation goes directly to the coffers of government. That is still available. People can still apply for CIP under that option. The bond option, that people can come and invest in bonds in St. Lucia and get a CIP passport and get a repayment, etc. That is still available. Alan Shasty has not touched that. He has not looked at that. You know why? Because these two aspects of the CIP, there's a level of transparency and accountability there. So we have no issues there, per se. You understand? Because that money comes directly to government in our coffers. But the money that's going to BMAX and CIP that nobody can account for, nobody wants to account for, we have taken it to court to ask the court to review it. Gade, look at it again. Because we believe that some of the things in there are irregularities that breach our law. So we will let the court decide.
I have another question. So, I found it strange that he took this matter to the CCJ. Why not the Privy Council?
Because we don't have the Privy Council anymore.
Oh, we don't?
No.
We've moved away from that already?
Yeah. You forget, Andrea, where you? You're not from St. Lucia. We don't have the Privy Council anymore. Our final appellate court is the CCJ.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Mm.
But let me tell you something, St. Lucia.
So let me ask you a final question. Yeah, before you move on. Let's just assume the CCJ rules that everything's above board, everything's fine.
If the court says it's fine, it's fine. I personally, I don't know what Alan Shaston and his lawyers will say. If there's grounds for appeal, if they feel, because I'm not a lawyer, Andre.
But
so I don't understand.
You can still appeal.
I don't know. I can ask those questions and I can find out from the lawyers if the CCJ say X and if they can reappeal or whatever and so forth and so forth. I don't know. But all I'm saying is that let the court look at it again with a fine-tooth comb. We have made our appeal to the court. We have said to the court what we found. We have given them the evidence. Let them look at it and let them give an opinion. All right? I would want the court to give an opinion. But I want to say to St. Lucia, I stand up with Alan Shasney. I believe Alan Shasney has done the right thing. And by the way, at his own expense. Okay? At his own expense. He has done the right thing. He has asked the court, listen, I cannot stand in good conscience as a St. Lucian. I cannot be there in good conscience as a former prime minister. I cannot watch my people suffering on the ground and we don't know whether not 1 cent of our CIP money has been used for these same poor people and allow the government to continue with a program or with 2 programs that has no oversight, no accountability, no transparency. It can't be right. It can't be right. You understand? It cannot be right. And Andrea, let me tell you something. Do you realize that all of a sudden, Galaxy is donating stuff to St. Lucians? You saw that?
Yes.
Galaxy is giving Kenson football for the young people. Simplicity, what is all Saturn? Wait. When I saw that, someone take a buoy. Because you telling me, you treating us like fools. Like we are so hungry that you have taken all our money and you coming back to give us some footballs? Nonsense. What I want to say, I cannot even say it on air. Magic Papi Show.
Didn't Dr. Hilaire also make a statement about another donation?
And then there was another donation that Galaxy has given some money to build a 5th wing for OKEU. So all of a sudden, All right? You making donation, black is white. You think that is going to fool us? Let me tell you something, Mr. Galaxy and Mr. Hilaire. We don't want charity. We want our money. Okay? We don't want charity from Galaxy. We want our money. We want accountability and transparency from Galaxy. So don't try and fool us and give a donation. Oh, Galaxy has given some football, over 500 footballs or whatever, to give to the youth. C'est ça, nous besoin football. C'est ça, nous besoin football. Nous pas besoin manger, nous pas besoin boire. Nous pas besoin aller à l'hôpital. Nous pas besoin oui med. Nous pas besoin ouais docteur. Nous pas besoin placer bail ça. Nous pas besoin bon chimé. But nous besoin football. The fifth wing that Galaxy is donating to, the money you are giving, will it build the fifth wing completely? Or we have to go and find other money to complete it? How much is the fifth wing going to cost? And then after you build it, who's going to furnish it? And after you furnish it, who's going to pay for the extra doctors and nurses it needs to run and to operate? And after you do that, who's going to give money to make sure they have bandage and plaster and Panadol and medication? Who's going to ensure that all that is there? You see the money, the $1 billion that can cover our entire budget, give it back to us and we'll do what we want to do with it. We don't want your charity. Don't try and pull the wool over our eyes. Don't try and piss in our eye and call it rain. Nonsense. We don't want it. Keep it. Give us back our money. Give us back our money. So let me tell you something. I went on the page of the Office of the Prime Minister. And I sent it to Andre because I wanted him to see it. All right? So all of a sudden, Ernest Hilaire is telling people that this is what the CIP money could have been doing. The same thing Philip J. Pierre. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Classic Labour Party. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Not here. You're not passing with that. So let me read to you. What is it that Ernest Hilaire has posted on the Office of the Prime Minister page? Let me tell you what he said. So I'll read it to you. It is normal to forget, especially when something doesn't directly benefit you. It's also easy to get caught up in the noise of detractors, finding yourself entangled in falsehoods and misrepresentations. As a politician, I must continuously remind you of the accomplishments your government has achieved over the past couple of years. Now, I want to read that for you again. Because let me tell you all something. I went to school, you know. Même si Richard Frederick dit m'a même aller primary school and secondary school. I went to school. I can read and write and I can understand. So English is, let me tell you something. When I wrote CXC, I got a 1. In fact, a distinction in English. More bright. More stupid. So here's what he said. As a politician, I must continuously remind you of the accomplishments your government has, not will, but your government has achieved over the past couple of years. Let us discuss how some of the CIP revenue has been utilized. So Ernest Hilaire is saying on the official government page that I want to remind you, St. Lucians, that this is what we have accomplished with your CIP money. This is what we have done with your CIP money. So I say, oh, really? I was curious. I said, well, let me go and see what our CIP money has done on the Labour Party. Andre, have it. You can see it and you can read it and tell me. Let me tell you what he says. The headline is 2 housing development projects. Hear that here? For the first time, CIP revenue will, St. Lucia, not has, CIP revenue will build affordable homes for St. Lucians in Rockhall Castries and Belvedere Canneries. Will. But didn't he say earlier on that I want to tell you what our CIP money has done, what we have accomplished? Isn't that what he said, Andre? So have means that this is something that has already happened. Not so, St. Lucia? Ou kwa mwen son dek. Zon kwen St. Lucia panit sevel. You telling St. Lucia, let me tell you what we have accomplished. How we have used your CIP money. But under the housing development aspect, you saying the CIP revenue will build. Because your poor fair yokai. They have not built one house, but they are planning to use CIP money 4 years later to build a housing scheme. 4 years later. So year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4. Where the money? What have y'all done with it? Y'all will build a housing scheme. $2.5 million for back to school assistance. I'll read it for you again. $2.5 million of CIP revenue will assist parents and guardians with back to school expenses for 2024-2025 year. Will. So they have not used a cent of the CIP money to help no children with back to school support, but they are planning to use it after 4 years. So year 1, they didn't give no back to school support from CIP. Year 2, CIP did not give no back to school support. Year 3, nothing. Year 4, nothing. But they will. Nonsense.
So,
I am reading it.
So,
that's what you say.
Yeah, sorry. So again, the opposition knows nothing about that. In terms of where those monies went,
but where the money?
Nothing?
I don't know, Andre. The Prime Minister has not accounted. Nobody has accounted. Then the next heading.
So
$11 million in direct
so
support.
How come when you ask me a question, I say, I don't know. You say, Mupala, Andre, you don't know that? You know that.
Andre, I don't know. I cannot say what I don't know, Andre.
All right.
Let me tell you, St. Lucia is a jokey. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Peep, pow, gitedi. This is what you coulda, woulda, and shoulda done with our CIP money, but up to date you haven't done it. $11 million in direct support to the Millennium Heights OKEU. $11 million of CIP revenue was provided to the Millennium Heights. So it seems to suggest they know very well what they say in Andre. They're no fool, They are no fools because they write the English language properly. For the back to school, they say will. For the housing, they say will because they know they have not done it. But for the OKEU, they say we have provided. It was given. So it has been done. That's the only thing they've done with our CIP money that they can account for. And then the last one, road rehabilitation project. CIP revenue will ensure our roads infrastructure is upgraded and maintained. Yo palome no yoshime. Yo palome no yoshime yo ha fait about CIP. Yoshime yo ha wanje. Anye yo ha fait about CIP. Anye yo bahadi. But let me tell you something. In contrast, St. Lucia, let me run through so that we can open the line at 10:30. What United Workers' Party did with your CIP money. And by the way, I need to remind you, we only sold about 850 passports in the 5 years that we were there, Andre. So far, these people just won. On the Galaxy alone, we know they've sold 5,000. 5,000. Per 500 or 5,000. Under the other option, the donation and the bonds, we know they've sold over 1,000, 2,000. All right? Under us, we only sold 850. And here's what we did with it. It's in the estimates of revenue and expenditure. I showed it to you the last time. Go back in the estimates and you'll see it where we account for every single dollar of CIP. And you know why we could account for it, Andre? Because at the time, there was supposed to be what we call an economic fund. And the economic fund was not established yet. And every CIP revenue went directly into the Accountant General's coffers. It went directly into our coffers right here in St. Lucia. So we didn't have a choice. We couldn't do no bobble with it. We couldn't do nothing with it. The money came and it went right to Accountant General. That is why we can account for it, St. Lucia. 2016, 2017, we had $6 million. We spent $6 million to commission OKEU, and that's when we just started it. All right, so we had to fix all the problems we found at OKEU. CIP money was used to commission and to start fixing the problem in OKEU. 2017, 2018, we spent money on the NICE. Remember the NICE program, the caregivers program? We spent money from CIP that. The Babono Fire Station, CIP money, fix it, finish it, and complete it. We did CDP, Christmas stimulus, CIP money, we did that. We spent $10 million from CIP money to market our tourism product. And we paid $9 million for land acquisition. Remember, Andre, government just goes and acquire people land and don't pay them. It take how many years? We spent $9 million CIP money to give back to St. Lucians to pay them for their lands that government had acquired money. CIP money did that. We spent money from CIP in the banana recovery unit. We spent $24 million went straight into the consolidated funds to finance and pay for things, etc. You all remember that? We didn't have no side account, no nothing. It went, everything went in government coffers. Where are our money going today?
So let me ask you a quick question. I remember the opposite. Well, when the now government was in opposition, they were saying that your administration was not accountable as far as CIP funds were concerned.
And we now know it's lies.
I remember them making those comments. So, do you think you did a good job in terms of letting the public know all these wonderful things that you did at the time?
We didn't do a good job. And not only did we not do a good job, I think the voice of the opposition, because they had created this thing in St. Lucia where they were trying to get St. Lucian to believe that we were not saying the truth. And people will listen. You know, sometimes like the louder noises, people listen to the louder noises and not the voice of reason. We said that every day. I had a show at the time and I said it every day. Alan Chasney went in Parliament and he read out from the budget and the estimates where we spend the money. They were still asking because you see they want to. If you say something over and over and over again, Andre, it sticks in people's mind and it seems to be the truth. But that was never the truth. Never the truth, but I do have to admit we didn't do a good enough job of shouting and saying what we did with the money. But I am telling you, St. Lucia, this is what we did with the money. 2018, 2019, we collect over $27 million was spent on the new National Hospital, both St. Jude's and OKEU. We spent money on tourism again. We spent money on, you remember the digital radio for the fire and the police so that they could communicate? CIP money was spent on that. We spent money on the Swazel Secondary School. You all remember that? That building, that part of the building that was sinking. We had to fix it. CIP money did that. In 2019, 2020, over $65 million, Andre. Sir Arthur Lewis, we gave them money to fix and to prepare on whatever it is that's for money. The marketing board, St. Lucia Marketing Board, CIP money went into that. Binfield Secondary School in View Fort. You all remember Binfield Secondary School right there. There were so many issues. CIP money fixed that. We spent $4 million bridge reconstruction all over the island, fixing up our waterways and our bridges. We spent money retrofitting OKEU. Road rehabilitation in Tiroche View Fort, in Tiroche Mikud, Prime Minister's constituency at the time. We spent CIP money doing that. So when the Labour Party come out and tell you, oh, UWP cannot account, we have accounted and we can account. Call me today, Ernest Hilaire, and let me show you. Take the estimates of revenue for each financial year and go to the back page and you will see CIP revenue right there, where it was used for and what it was used for. That's why we can account it. I dare you to come out and do the same. Come out and tell St. Lucia, Ernest Hilaire and Philip J. Pierre, tell St. Lucians where it is that you have spent our CIP money. Where? And Andrea, I want to give a correction. The case that Alan Chasney, the judicial review, is not in the CCJ, it is in the High Court. So you have to go to the High Court first, and if you're not satisfied with the High Court, then you will appeal to the CCJ. So it's in the High Court, not the CCJ.
Oh, I thought it had already gone to the CCJ.
No, it's not gone. It has to go through the process. Apparently, I think the process with courts is that you can't go straight to the CCJ. The CCJ is kind of like an appellate court. You can appeal to them. So if you go through the regular court and you realize, I'm not happy, I'm not satisfied, I will appeal to a higher body and a higher body, etc. and so forth. Yeah?
Okay.
And then somebody sent me a message. It is official. Kakal has received his transfer letter to take effect from the 10th of March 2025. Now, I don't know if that's true. I will also reach out to Kakal. Kakal, if you're listening, let us know for sure that has happened. But if that happens, it further states to us, St. Lucia. Look at what happened to Taliam, which was Alan Chasney's personal security. Look at what happened to Jan Gustav. And look what's happening to Kakal. I want to know if the Police Welfare Association is going to sit back and allow this type of political interference to be happening within the police force. I want to know. Because if Kakal has not done anything politically as a police officer to say that he has been biased politically to anybody, why are you all transferring him just so? Because he come and sing? Because he's a Calypsonian and he has to earn his keep. So pa pay ya se la han. So any point short pour faire pli la han. Up to a day like today, you all can't pay them a decent salary. So what you want him to do? Sit down and file his nails? He's an artist. He's supposed to leave. And because of that, you're telling him where he can sing and where he cannot sing? Nonsense. Somebody in this country has to stand up for something, Andre. Somebody in this country has to stand up for something. And the United Workers' Party, under the leadership of Alan Chasney, with all of us supporting him, we are standing up for St. Lucia. We are standing up to right the wrongs that is happening in this country. And I can tell you nothing is more wrong than that. And we need to right the wrong, St. Lucia. But let me tell you something. I say to them, tato. The longest rope has an end. My grandfather used to say, la me belle navige. Go ahead. But the time will come when the St. Lucian people will go to the ballot box and they will show you. Philippe J.P. Hakahele, Iyai Baba Didi, when they call the election, we will in all 17 seats. Deju, la VS Lycée Parliament. Well, our chances of winning election is becoming slimmer and slimmer. Ou a changé parole. Oh, ou pa age 17 seats encore. Ou ka isav? Tanto. Karma, they tell you. Just wait for it. Andre, I want to open the lines.
Mm-hmm.
Let us open the line. Give St. Lucians the number.
Sure.
And let us...
The fixed line is 572-9710. 572-9710. That's the fixed line. Or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. We have somebody on the fixed line for you.
Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling Meet the Opposition.
Good morning to you, Nancy. Good morning to you, Mr. Paul.
Morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Very good, Nancy. Just to highlight, because I heard you said that Galaxy will be helping us to build a fifth wing.
They've made a contribution. They've made a donation towards the construction of a fifth wing at OKEU.
Nancy, the reason I said that, because it was in the House of Parliament that Philippe Pierre made so much noise to say how that would be completed with CIP money and how whether BMAF go or not, the housing project in Rockall would continue without taking money. So, should we take what happened in the Parliament like just words, or should we really see those things at what ministers come and take them serious in the South?
But answer your questions. Answer the question yourself, caller. What do you think?
I know it's just a big joke, even compared to what has been happening. Because they just keep speaking and then you have the supporters saying, oh, Philippe Dissa, and no follow-up. So even like budget, they come and they say something, the next budget comes, they speak about the same thing and no one really question them and say, that's a higher South, or we have to be accountable for what they said.
Because, caller, they know they have their hacks who are out there who are going to defend the nonsense that they do irrespective. They know they have their party hacks out there. They can come in the parliament. They can talk endless crap. They have a level of protection inside the parliament. Some of the things they say in the parliament, they can never say outside of the parliament because they know people will take them to task. So right now, our parliament is a puppy show. It's a place where lies, propaganda, politicians can come, talk all kinds of crap and nonsense. You have a speaker who's going to facilitate them, not stop them, not correct them. And so they know they can do whatever they want. But that will stop soon. It will stop.
All right, Nancy. I'm listening on the radio then.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much. Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling Meet the Opposition.
Good morning, Nancy. Can you hear me loud and clear?
I can. I haven't heard your voice in a little while. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I was bad. I was under the weather a bit, but I'm getting there. I'm fighting.
I'm happy that you're feeling better.
You know, Flubbo's a fighter.
Yes, we do.
I want to, as you were talking about the CIP, you omitted one thing that to bring up, and that is the reports, the audit reports for the CIP that is supposed to be brought to Parliament. It was late 2 years, and in this instance, it's 6 months late. I don't think you forgot that. You forgot to mention that the CIP reports, the audits, supposed to be by law, supposed to be presented to Parliament, is over 6 months late. But
let me stop you, caller. It's not over 6 months late. The first report was over 1 year late, and the second report is now 6 months late. The first report was presented 1 year later, and the second report, it is now 6 months overdue. You understand? Exactly. So they're taking us for a puppy show in this country.
Puppy show, and they think the Lucians are gullible and stupid. I want, under the rhetoric of the Labour Party, what they're trying, the hacks, the operatives, they're trying to say that Alan Chasney filing this injunction is against the CIP, is against St. Lucia. He does not love St. Lucia, and he doesn't want to see St. Lucia progress or develop. And I'm happy that you clear the air. It is because there's no transparency. Where is the money? We're hearing over $6 billion missing. Where is that money? Yet we're hearing that there are certain ministers of government with accounts in Egypt and Dubai, all kinds of things we're hearing on with no accountability, no accounting. The next thing I want to say quickly is the level of victimization. I am hearing, and I want the Commissioner of Police to come and clarify the air. I am hearing that Kakal is being victimized because he sang at the rally on Sunday.
But Kakal sang last year on our platform, caller, as well. Is it that they forgot or they didn't see it? What happened?
Exactly. Kakal is a performer. He's an entertainer. He sings calypso. He's an entertainer. That's what he does on the side for his living. Whichever organization or political party that hires Kakal, he's an entertainer. He's a professional. Once you pay him, he will come entertain.
Exactly.
Kakal sang no political song on Sunday. Yet still we hear calls were made by a certain government minister to the Commissioner of Police saying to discipline Kakal because he was on a Flubbo platform singing. We're slowly losing our democracy. We heard also the situation with Jan Gustav and the other the leader of the opposition security detail. When a sitting government minister, Richard Frederick, gave instruction to the police commissioner on air to discipline these two said police officers with no cause.
Okay.
We are losing our democracy, St. Lucia. When a government minister could say that he's giving a police commissioner, Andrew, that could never happen in no civilized country. Not even in Barbados would a government minister go on air, on national TV, on radio, and give a police commissioner instructions, and that said police officer would act on those instructions. Only in St. Lucia. And we have to see what's happening. And when the United Workers Party holding this government accountable, like you said, Nancy, you have Labour Party attacking you personally. All because you're speaking out against the injustices and the wickedness and the victimization of this Labour Party government. Have a blessed day, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nancy, somebody just raised the issue of the Julian Alfred application. Yes, and the person is saying that this matter is in the hands of a lawyer, not the AG.
No, I don't know if they have gone to a lawyer, but I just spoke about the process for applying. So the process is, Andre, that if you come to St. Lucia, you see, nobody cannot just get up in the morning and say, I want to start a not-for-profit foundation and just go and register it. There's a process or vetting process that has to take place. You have to say what it is, what your foundation is going to do. It's kind of like an application. And the Attorney General Chambers is where you apply first, where the Attorney General Chambers have to review it and agree and say, yes, I have looked at all your documentation. I have looked at all your directors. They are in good standing, blah, blah, blah,
etc. That's
before
it goes to the lawyer?
Well, the lawyer would be the one maybe making the application on your behalf.
Okay.
Because Julian is not here. So I have to assume that either a lawyer's firm is the one who made the application on her behalf. And so that is why her manager is now saying they're very frustrated because nothing is coming through. You understand? So you're
saying it It must be in the hands of the AG. That's what you're saying. He
It
must
has
have
to
seen
go
it.
through it has to go through the AG chambers first.
All right. Okay.
And that is what apparently, based on the statement, we are understanding that it's stuck there.
You have another call.
Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling Meet the Opposition.
Good morning, my sister Nancy. Good morning, Mr. Paul.
My
Morning,
brother
sir.
Sonson, how are you?
Yeah, you asked for me and I come.
Yeah, and I asked you one specific question, eh? So, weapon question I have on the way to
there,
by.
but before I come onto you, so let me just have my what I have to share with you
Okay.
before I can come and answer your question.
So, you don't want to answer my question, but you want to tell me all kinds of things.
No, but I don't want to forget.
I'll give you a
on my thing
minute.
because I had my thing.
I'll give you a minute, Mr. Sonson. Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Nancy, Sister Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to talk to your leader. The way he are treating people, even people in his own party,
Mm-hmm.
the way he treating people is not good enough. And
Okay.
you all have to talk to him. about it,
Explain
because
yourself. What did he do?
I watched your convention you all had in Lakai,
Yes.
and the way I see he treated your chairman.
What way did he treat our chairman?
When they call him to give him the placard,
Mm-hmm.
the plaque for his murder,
Mm-hmm.
the man didn't watch his face.
That's not true, Mr. Sonson. Let me correct
Okay,
you. So let me correct you.
okay,
That's
okay.
not true.
Listen,
You are
listen,
watching.
hold
Hold on. No, I will stop you.
Ah.
You are watching a clipping that the Labour Party cut to show that Alan Shasney did not shake Ferrell Prudent hand and to try and create and say that Alan Shasney and Ferrell Prudent have an issue. Nothing is further from the truth. I was at the bottom of the stairs. I was the one giving the award to Alan Shasney so he can give to the people as they came up to take their award. When we mentioned Frances Prudent, Ferrell was so excited. Ferrell jumped up to the back. Ferrell was jumping up to the back and clapping. Ferrell just ran on the stage. He just took the thing and he went back because everybody stood, waited, took a picture, etc. But I suppose in Ferrell's excitement, he took the thing and he just walked back and shaking it up, etc. and so forth. Nothing happened.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Nothing
So what
happened
I
between
see-
Ferrell and Alan. So stop that nonsense,
Okay,
crap. That's
darling,
Labour Party
darling,
propaganda.
darling.
Let's move on. Next.
Darling. So what you telling me? My eyes are seeing. Not
Your eyes see what it wanted to see, Sapavwe. Next. Let's go.
okay. Now you ask me question.
Mm-hmm.
You ask me what the Labour Party do
With
the
our CIP money. Yes.
Yeah. So I want to ask you all the project that happening. Where that money coming from?
It's coming from our taxes that they're collecting on us. The 2.5% levy, the custom duties, and all these things. That's where it's coming from, not from CIP.
All that money, Nancy?
All that money, but that's why it's always coming from Mr. Sonson. Taxes,
So-
duties, You let me tell you something. One of these days I'll come with the budget, the estimates of expenditure, and I'll read the front of it, I think, or in the back, where it shows you the source of funding and where all money is coming from. I'll read it for you so you can see. Not CIP. Next. I want you to
Now-
tell me, outside of OKEU, the $11 million that government gave to OKEU, tell me one thing you know for a fact that Labour Party has done with our CIP money since they came into office. One.
Well, as far as I can see, all the project that going in St. Lucia, around St. Lucia.
That's a
I
cop out,
believe
Mr.
all-
Sonson. You are copying out, Mr. Sonson. Give me one name. Name one that I can verify and say
Okay.
they
Who
take
pay-
CIP money and they build a house. Show me one.
Okay. Nancy,
Uh-huh.
who paying the money that have to pay for the road for like from cul-de-sac to Suffren?
That
Who
was,
pay-
let me tell you, that money came from a company. There's a agency in the UK called UKCIF. It is a donation they gave us. They gave us 80% donation, and the balance of the 20%, we took a loan from the Caribbean Development Bank to cover the other 20%. So that is a loan that we took from the bank, and it
and
is
where that
our
money-
taxpayer money. When they collect taxes from us, they pay back our loans. That's how it's being
Nancy,
paid. Panila and CIP
me,
la.
that-
Ukashe,
to me,
you
that
fishing,
CIP
Mr.
money-
Sonson, you fishing.
the money that the money from CIP have to do the thing for the people. in-
No, it's not
Now,
being
let's-
used for
okay.
that, Mr. Sonson.
Okay.
So go on, let me
ask
tell
another
you.
question.
Let me tell you before I let you go, because we have other calls. Go and get your facts. Go and call your people in the office. Tell them I want to know what the CIP money is. Tell them give you the facts, and you'll call me next week and you'll tell me what they do with the money. Thank you. Let's take another call.
Hold on. One more question.
Right.
What happened to you talk about Kakal?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want you to answer the people. I have a homework to give you to her after the question. Just a homework. For next Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
What I want you to answer the people or tell the people what happened to Martin Ditterville. May his body rest in peace. What happened to him when they call on him to stop anybody that's in red to cross Denry Bridge? Don't let them cross the Denry Bridge.
Okay.
And when he couldn't let that happen, what happened to him?
Let me tell you what.
Hold on, let me finish.
You don't need no homework, I can answer that.
Let me finish with that same thing. I want you to ask you and tell the people if the police never get transferred from at any time or at anywhere.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Mr. Sonson. You can hang up and let me answer. That's no homework. I can answer that. I have fair assignments, Mr. Sonson. My son student carried. So let me tell you what happened before we take the next call. It was during COVID. The Labour Party, Christopher Hunt, Richard Frederick, all of them organized a protest around the island so that they can go and protest against the UWP administration. They did not have police permission. When they stood in the boulevard, you saw that, you remember that? Everybody saw the pictures of them being in the boulevard. The police came and said to them, listen, y'all don't have police permission. Y'all cannot have a motorcade around the island. Y'all cannot protest. You need police permission. Y'all remember Richard Frederick when he was pushing the police officer and standing up in his face and chucking back at him. So, Mr. Sonson, you remember what happened? And so, Christopher Hunt, y'all remember the video that circulated of Christopher Hunt went on the side and he said to the people, yo, the police tell us we cannot assemble here, but here's what we can do. Some of you go that side, some of you go that side, some of you go down there, and we will meet down in cul-de-sac, and we will go down that highway. You remember the voice note Christopher Hunt when they recorded him telling the people that? And so because the police knew that's what they were trying to do, to defy the police, they called the police station up ahead and say, these people have no permission. You will see some people coming down in red because they were dressed in red, and said that you should stop them because they do not have police permission to have a motorcade. It was not against anybody personally. It was because they were doing an illegal thing. And so the police made the call and said, stop all vehicles and people you see coming down the road in red doing motorcade because they are illegally motorcaded on the road. So it was not anything personal. So more upon question. Bon. I fais homoku, eximen proche vin di mwen, kome CIP project, kome l'argent CIP, gouvernement le ba ha servi pou fè anye by set lisi, ba CIP. That's why, let me tell you something. St. Lucia, when I come here, I know what I'm coming to say, you know. These same Labour Party people that telling you Alan Chasney trying and sub CIP for the poor people cannot name one thing that they have done for these same poor people with the CIP money. But I can tell you what they are doing with it for themselves. The big vehicles they're buying, 2 free expensive vehicles, the yachts, the boats, the expensive trips, the brand name clothing, the big houses they are building with your money. Okay? Yo kama he steak, ek la fin pou mahe kou chicken back. Yo kama he steak, yo kama he beef, ek un pou mahe kou chicken back. Pa mem tizel ou sa gen, tizel toshe. Let's go, next call. Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling Meet the Opposition.
Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Andrew Paul.
Morning
Good
to you,
morning,
sir.
caller.
Morning.
And good morning to your listeners and viewers. Nancy, I've called because I'm a bit annoyed about this Mr. Sonson that you allow so much time on your show.
Well, the operative word is caller that this is my show. And I get to determine who I give more time and who I'm generous with. So give me that latitude, please. Give me that latitude.
That's why I said that's why I used the operative. No, that's why I used the operative word and I said your show.
Oh, he's my good friend, you know, Mr. Sonson. I like to engage with him. So go ahead, caller.
We are the opposition. We have no friends. We have opponents. And all he does when he calls this radio show is to play in people's minds and to spread the Labour narrative.
But don't you think I'm doing a good job at defending it, caller?
Absolutely. No top belly.
Go ahead with your contribution.
But anyway, here's my contribution now. And Nancy, remember this gentleman? I think we spoke about him earlier, but I wasn't listening to your show. If I'm repeating something, forgive me.
That's okay.
I've just stolen some time from work. Now, this gentleman, Mr. Antoine, the governor of the ECCB.
You're right.
When he was on last year, he was on the Timothy show, News Maker Live. And Timothy asked him about the St. Kitts CBI and the St. Lucia CIP, which both have been beleaguered with court cases and accusations of corruption and mismanagement, etc. And considering that the headquarters for the ECCB is in St. Kitts, you would have thought that the gentleman would have known something about what was going on in CIP in the Caribbean,
right?
Especially for member states of the ECCB. And he feigned ignorance. He pretended like there was nothing going on, nothing wrong.
He pretended like he knew nothing.
Right. I always found that strange. I was perplexed, to be honest. I was like, how doesn't he know anything? But this thing has implications and ramifications for the bank, for the economy of the ECCU. And therefore, why did he know nothing?
Okay.
But then I read Ralph Gonsalves' letter yesterday to the Prime Minister of St. Kitts, and his disgust about this $22 million mansion or palace that's been constructed by the bank for the governor of the bank. So basically, he's using the money that our country has, our money, right, to build a palace for himself.
Can you imagine?
Right? While we have people in St. Lucia who can't even afford to pay their bills or feed their families a healthy meal a day. Now, my problem is, we have a representative who sits on the board of governors. And the representative is the director of finance. The director of finance reports to the prime minister, or the minister of finance, rather, who happens to be the prime minister as well. This building is about 80% complete. Ouvle dis-moi that the prime minister and minister of finance did not know or doesn't know that this building is being constructed for $22 million.
Everybody knows the truth. Everybody can see 1 + 1 = 2. So all of them knew, including Philip J. Pierre, the $22 million mansion was being built. And I can certainly tell you that the governor of the bank knew very well the ramifications and some of what was transpiring with the CBI, especially in St. Kitts, even more so than St. Lucia, because that's where it started. He knew very well, but everybody is feigning innocent. I don't know anything, because everybody covering up for each other. All of them are covering up for each other. They're protecting each other.
So when Mr. Song calls and speaks about these trivial matters, that is why I get a little bit annoyed, because our governments, our lawyers, our establishment, the people who are supposed to be the protectors of our institutions, of our government, the guardrails, those guys are worse than the gangs. When somebody commits a crime in a certain community, you can throw you on a lot. Nobody says anything. They cover for each other.
Yeah.
Right? What is the difference between those with the suits and the ties, the ministers, the senior public servants, the governors of the banks? They're defending and protecting each other. So one comes to St. Lucia, he's asked about all the corruption in the CIP.
Kola, I always say time. Yeah, time is the biggest. Time, if we just give everything time, sometimes you will just find the answers to what you're looking for. Just give it a little bit time. But just give it time and you will find the answers. Anyway, thank you, caller.
Thank you.
All right. We have another call.
No, just let me ask you a quick question. The ECCB, is that a profit-making entity?
I am not sure if it's supposed to be a profit-making entity. By that I mean that it's supposed to have a profit to ensure it can cover its costs and everything like that and invest our money. But ECCB primarily is responsibility for the stability of our
exactly.
dollars.
So when we hear $22 million, that means they're bathing in money. There's a lot of money there. That's a shameful thing.
Andre,
we have a call.
We have another call, and I do want to say, even before we take the call, Andre, maybe sometime next week we will be starting. We had some new candidates that we presented over the weekend. Really bright, amazing people. So for the next couple of weeks, we will be bringing them on one by one. So St. Lucia can meet them. They can tell you a bit more about themselves and so forth, so you can know who those new candidates are for the United Workers' Party in the upcoming general election. Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling Meet the Opposition.
Oui, bonjour, je m'appelle en France.
Ah, bonjour. Parlez créole, pas parler français, mais je comprends français.
Non, je ne parle créole, je parle bon. Moi, je demande de gouvernement ça qui là. Pour 4 ans, c'est pour ça qui nous a souffert. Actuellement, vous voulez décider de mettre l'argent d'or, vous avez l'élection qui approche. Bah, ça là, il y a sexe à cette ici. Comprenez? C'est pour ça là, quand il quitte le peuple a souffert, depuis on sait que le peuple a souffert, depuis l'élection qui a venu, il y a pas moun l'argent pour votre bail. Pour qui c'est l'argent ça sont pas assemblé pour mener la maquette? L'argent ça sont pas ces citoyens. Pour qui ils ont pas maintenant essayer mener la maquette pour bail au travail plutôt.
Because you have say moun aise a kene, ou comprendre so ko baye moun $30. So since moun have faim, yo ka kito faim ek la yo presque ka mo. Yo ka ba utak manger. So là manger ak boudon plan ka di merci pour monsieur ça c'est lui qui ba manger. Mais ça ou pas réaliser c'est même monsieur ça qui te fait faim in the first place. Mais ou ka oui merci pour manger ay ba wa, et ko pas réaliser c'est lui qui fait faim pour ça ba manger.
Mais madame, vaut mieux un gouvernement qui bon travail passer qu'à bon. L'argent fini.
Vous comprenez? Moi d'accord.
L'argent fini. Nous, cette ici, il est pour nous open mindset, nous, messieurs. Oui, verser vers nous. À ce qui était ces boucs, ça pour nous raconter si nous c'est des imbéciles. Vous voulez dire, moi, messieurs, par hors du bâtiment, ça là, Bill. L'hôpital, ça, c'est pour ça qu'a mettez nous en idée là. C'est pas hordi. Normalement, l'hôpital, ça, c'est pour démolir. Pour tenter de bout là, ouais. Mais c'est qui ça qui a empêché les autres? Fini l'hôpital neuf là, chasse neuf là. C'est pas l'hôpital Labour Party, c'est l'hôpital nous, Jean, cette ici, messieurs. Ça, c'est l'hôpital nous, Jean, sous fini l'hôpital là, c'est pas l'hôpital Labour Party, c'est l'hôpital nous toutes. Il est pour nous tout bout en l'air depuis nous cette ici. Tout bout en l'air pour nous man. Pas faire c'est pour ça qu'on dit que nous valer c'est vers nous. On dit que nous oublier.
Anyway, caller, l'air a fini.
Bon, OK, bon nous pas là après.
Nous pas là après. Merci. St. Lucia, we have to wrap up because it's close to 11 o'clock. But I let me say something to our callers. Because I noticed that, even underneath the live, a lot of people are criticizing the issue of Labour Party people calling the show or even Mr. Sonson. Let me tell you something, St. Lucia. Sometimes, it's better to let the opposition people call so we can know the lies that they are spewing so that we can correct it and fix it right away. If no Labour Party people call the show and try to spread the Labour Party propaganda, then we will not know what it is we have to defend and what it is we have to say to correct the truth. Because that's what they did the last time. You see, last time they spoke a lot of lies and propaganda. They said a lot of false things, and we didn't defend it because we were not calling their shows to defend it. You understand? We have to do the opposite of that. And this is a democracy as well. So I want in particular, when I am on air, I want in particular the Labour Party people to call, because I want them to call to say that what I am saying is not the truth and give their evidence. And that is why I appreciated the call from Mr. Sonson, because I gave him a challenge. He could not tell us one thing that the Labour Party has done with our CIP money. And it was a good thing he called and talked about that stopping people in red. So I could clarify to you all once and for all that this is not the whole story. The whole story is not that the police said stop everybody in red because they were targeting Labour Party people. The whole story is that the Labour Party, Richard Frederick, Christopher Hunt had organized an illegal protest and motorcade around the island, and the police stopped them and tell them they don't have permission, and they were trying to find another way to ensure that they do it. So they were trying to bypass the police and go down the road, and that is why the police made a call and said, some people coming down the road, they're in red, they are illegal, they are motorcading and they are illegal, you need to stop them. That is what happened. So I am happy he called and he was able to say those lies so that I can defeat it and defend it and tell you the truth. So pa fache le Mr. Sonson kouye. Moi mele kouye. Moi vle lot jan le ba kouye. Because moi vle kouye, yo kouye. Pour tout se man chose lan yo te ka di ya, pour moi sa demanti yo. That's why I want them to call. St. Lucia, this has been another edition of Meet the Opposition. I trust that you were educated. I trust you understood the issue with the CIP and why it is that the leader of the opposition felt that we had to ask for judicial review to stop the bleeding and stop what is happening with our CIP program. But equally, I'm glad that you understood that we have not stopped the CIP in its entirety. We have no objections to it. All we want is transparency and accountability. I am happy, St. Lucia, that every time I come on air, by the grace of God, I'm able to educate you so that you can go back out there and educate the public. When you go out this weekend, please be safe. You know what it is like. Let me say congratulations again to our 5 new candidates that we presented on Sunday. Really very impressed with men and women that we have brought to the fore. You'll get to meet them in the coming weeks, St. Lucia. So be safe, go out there and share and spread love. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nancy. And I imagine, God willing, I'll see you in another couple of months, maybe?
Hopefully, very soon.
Okay, thank you very much. You've been listening to Meet the Opposition, heard on Rev Up St. Lucia every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So join us next week, Thursday, for another Meet the Opposition. With that, we come to the end of my stint here on Rev Up for today. Thanks for listening. As always, you can join me tomorrow morning, same time from 5 o'clock for another Wake Up and Live. Do enjoy the rest of your day, as Nancy said, and we have Kina. She'll be with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. From 3, Zen the DJ until 6. Take care.